Welcome to the Lean Out Your Business podcast, a show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs accelerate business growth and simplify success. I'm your host, Krista Grasso, and I've been working with businesses for more than 2 decades to help them lean out and optimize what's working while eliminating anything that's not adding value. So if you are ready to get more time back in your day, more profit in your business, and to do business differently, growing and scaling on your terms, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about scaling without burnout. And this is something that I teach on quite often. I have a few different master classes that I lead on scaling without burnout. I'm actually doing one at the time that I'm recording this. I'm about to do one tomorrow. And so I thought I would take you behind the scenes on the podcast in one of the exercises that I do, because I think this is such an incredibly powerful exercise in understanding one of the fundamental things that I think people miss when they're thinking of scaling, and specifically when they're thinking of scaling in a way where they don't have to keep doing more and working harder. And that is, how scalable is your business currently? A lot of times we immediately jump into the what can I do to scale faster or to scale more? But we don't always have a scalable business model or a scalable offer suite to support us. And without things being scalable, we end up putting ourselves in a place where the only way we can scale is by doing more and working harder. And as we know, that's what leads to burnout. So you're going to have to do a little bit of imagination with me here. And as a reminder, as I'm doing each of these solo episodes, something I've started doing lately is producing a workbook that accompanies the episode. So that way you can take what we're talking about and you can immediately put it into action. There's always 5 questions that you can reflect on. It gives you space to do some exercises and some thinking and reflection. And that there will be one that accompanies this episode, which I think will really help you take action on what I'm about to walk you through. But if you're driving, if you're on the treadmill, if you're listening to podcasts in the same way that I normally do, you're going to have to use your imagination a little bit for this one. So first things first is I want you to think about, what is the big vision and financial target that you have for your business? Maybe you want a $500,000 business. Maybe you want a $5 million business. Maybe you want a $50 million business, right? We all have different financial targets, and sometimes those targets shift and evolve over time, right? You might be thinking you want a 7-figure business, and then you get there and realize, no, I think I actually want a $10 million business. So today, when you think about your business, think about, what is that target that you have and where do you want to take things? What's that vision that you're working towards as far as you can see today? Now, the next thing I want you to think about is, what is the value of your core signature offer? Now, you may have multiple offers in your offer suite, but what's the one main offer that you are selling? The thing that typically leads people to maybe ascending into some of your higher level offers. For me, my signature offer is Simplify to Scale. And that's certainly not the only thing I sell. I do private work with people. I have my Reimagine and Amplify retreats. I have ready to implement systems that you can get in my system shop. And I even have a new program called Simplify and Scale with AI that I'm really excited to be releasing. So I have multiple things that I do in my business, but my core offer, the one that you hear me talk about the most often, the one that I focus on the most often, is Simplify to Scale. And the reason for that is the foundational offer that businesses need in order to be able to scale in a simple, sustainable way. It is the offer that leads to the long-term results that all of my clients and everyone that I work with wants. So that's the core offer that I focus on. So think about, for you, what is that? What is your core signature offer? And then look at the full value of that offer. And now the next thing to do is just a little bit of math. Take that total dollar amount that you want to be generating in the business and divide it down by the value of your core offer. And that gives you the number of clients that you would need to be able to serve per year. Now, don't worry about precision here. I understand if somebody joins in June versus January and they're paying monthly, it's going to be different amounts and all those things. Don't worry about this. This is more an exercise to get you thinking about the scalability of your business than it is an exercise in precision. So just take the full value of your offer if somebody paid in full and take the target dollar amount that you want to make in your business based on your vision and divide that target by the value of your offer. And so let's say that your target is $5 million. That's the vision that you have for your business. And your core signature offer is a $5,000 value. Well, that would mean that you would need to be able to serve 1,000 clients per year. Now, let's say today you serve 100 clients. In order to get from where you are today to where you want to be, that would be a 10x jump. And so I want you to think about that for a moment. Let's say that 6 months from today, you are doing 10x the volume in your business than you do today. How does that make you feel? Some people end up feeling completely excited and they're, yes, that would be amazing. I'm ready. I want to do this. Most people have a moment of excitement followed by a whole lot of terror. And they realize, I couldn't possibly do that. There's no way. I don't have enough people to do it. I don't have the right systems to do it. I don't have enough time to do it. There's no way I could never do 10x as much. Maybe for you, it's not 10x. Maybe it's only 2x. Maybe it's 5x. Same exercise. If you fast forward 6 months from today, if you were able to be doing that volume in your business, maybe you get just the right opportunity where you are in front of just the right audience who is exactly your ideal target market, and they all have the urgent problem that you solve. And because of this opportunity, you have the ability to bring in this big new influx of new clients. So I want you to practically think through, can you do it? What would get in the way? What would be your biggest constraint? If you're selling one-on-one, for example, or if a lot of what you do is dependent on you. So maybe you have a team that helps with some of the delivery. Maybe you have things that are scalable, but you personally do a one-on-one call with every single person who joins your program in order to welcome them in, right? Maybe you're not doing one-on-one work per se, but you have one-on-one components. Or maybe you are the only person who's having those sales conversations, or you're the only person who's doing some of the business development. If you think about where you are and what you touch yourself that somebody else can't necessarily support you with today, what is the maximum number of people that you can serve or that you can bring in as clients based on that constraint? Quite often, we are our own biggest constraint. And sometimes we can think pretty logically about the fact, well, if I work one-on-one and it takes me 4 hours a month to serve one client, I can only serve this many clients because after that, I'm having to overwork, right? I can only do this much based on the time that I have. That's pretty easy. Most of us get that model, we tap out and we have a ceiling. And then when we move to more of a scaled model, whether we're doing courses, whether we're doing group programs, masterminds, whatever that ends up looking like, even we have an agency model and we're providing services, right? If we move to that model, we can start to see how it's more scalable, which is great. You want something that's scalable, but sometimes we still are overlooking the pieces that are so dependent on us, that we have a ceiling and we have a cap in what we're able to do that is well below the target that we actually have in our business. So we cannot actually scale our business where we want it to go. And any amount of scaling is actually going to increase the amount of time that we need to work. And that is exactly what we don't want to do. A truly scalable business that is scalable in a simple, sustainable way. You should be able to bring in 100 new clients or 1,000 new clients, and it does not take more of your time. Now, there's always going to be some incremental increases. For example, let's say you do primarily course-based model or a program-based model where somebody's getting digital content and they get a group Q&A call. Highly scalable, but every single time you're selling that program to more people, you have more opportunity for there to be customer service requests. or for there to be things that someone needs to do to be able to support the volume of clients. Now, ideally, that someone is not you, but there is more work as there's more people in some respect. The key is you want it to be minimal more work so that you really can add more people without an increase in your resources. That is scalability. Otherwise, it's growth. And growth gets glamorized, and growth is great. We definitely want to grow things. However, scale is where freedom actually happens. Scale is where you can serve more people, you can make more money, you can generate more profit, you can have more of an impact. You can do all those things that you actually want to do. And it does not require more time and more expense in order to do it because you have something that's truly scalable. And that's really what it's all about. That's also how you end up scaling without burnout. A lot of times, if you're burning out as you're scaling, I would venture to guess you're probably growing and not scaling. So let's do a real quick recap here. First things first, what's your vision financially for your business? Next is, what is the total value of your core offer? When you divide that down, when you divide the vision by the value, how many clients would you need to serve in a year? And how does that compare to the number of clients that you serve today? Now, let's say in this example, you see it's 1,000 clients and you think, I don't really want to serve 1,000 clients. I like more of a boutique model. I actually love serving 100 clients. 100 clients is exactly my sweet spot. Well, that's pretty eye-opening in order to look at it and say, well, then how am I going to be able to 10x my revenue from where I am today if I don't want to 10x the number of people that I'm serving? That's going to require some changes to your business model, some changes to your pricing structure. If, on the other hand, the idea of moving from 100 to 1,000 clients sounds like exactly what you want to do, and you're thinking, yes, how do I do that? And how do I do that right away? Then you want to be thinking about not just marketing and sales, because yes, you want to get in front of the right people. You're not going to be able to make a 10x jump or a big jump from where you are to where you want to be without being able to get more visibility into your brand and without really solid messaging that's super compelling when you do get in front of the right people. So they recognize that what you're offering is exactly what it is that they've been looking for. All of that's important. However, think about the operations that it's going to take to actually be able to deliver on what you're selling. It's not just about the shiny, it's about the ability to actually deliver an exceptional client experience and run an operationally efficient business. Because without those two things, if you don't have a good client experience, which when people experience rapid growth, client experience frequently suffers, right? And if you don't have good client experience, what will happen is it's hard to sustain that growth. You will have people who don't retain. You might have people who ask for refunds. It can damage your brand reputation, which can cause your conversion rates to go down. And so you want to protect client experience at all costs. It's one of the most important things that you can do. And one of the best ways to do that is to invest in the right systems so that your team can support you. And one of the things that's shifting so much in how we're working, and it's shifting so rapidly, is that when I talk about team, and I talk about team often, team, I think, can include AI. And I think team honestly needs to include AI. It needs to include automations. It needs to very strategically be looking at how you can automate almost everywhere that you can and how you can scale intimacy, especially for your high ticket offers where there's more of a personal touch or a very highly personal feel to what you're doing. So people feel really valued, especially for high ticket offers. I don't actually recommend that you automate everything, but I do recommend that you automate a lot. And if nothing else, you systematize, because you want consistency. And whenever I say this, it can ruffle a few feathers sometimes, but I used to teach one of my 5-part master classes all the time. And I would talk about client experience being super important. And I would say, you're better off having a consistently bad client experience than an inconsistent client experience. And people inevitably would get like all bent out of shape when I would say that and saying, why would you want a consistently bad client experience? You don't want a consistently bad client experience at all. You want a phenomenal and exceptional client experience. But the key word in that statement was the word consistently. When you have things that are inconsistent, it is really, really difficult to pinpoint what's working and to pinpoint what's not working. So you don't know what to do more of, and you don't know what to course correct and fix. So if you have a consistently bad client experience, if everyone hands down tells you your onboarding is terrible, you know that you can go and fix your onboarding process. If people are all over the board and person A has the most amazing onboarding experience, person B has a terrible one, person C is indifferent, how do you know? Was it that person B was just really picky? Maybe it had nothing to do with their onboarding experience. Maybe they're regretting their buying decision, or maybe there really is something wrong with the onboarding experience, or maybe everyone's getting a different experience and then you're not sure what to correct. So you want consistency, and systems help give you consistency. And that allows you to recognize and double down on what's working. And it allows you to recognize and quickly fix and course correct what isn't. It also enables you to bring your team members on, your physical human team members that you bring on. It gives them the recipe for success for their role. It helps them understand how to handle different situations. It helps them understand your brand and your values and the way that you work and the way that you approach things. So you want to make sure that your business is scalable. And the very first part of that is when you look at your business model, when you look at your offers, can they take you where you want to go? Or do you need to make changes? Assuming they can take you where you want to go, do you have clarity on what you can be doing to actually get there? Or clarity on what to be doing next? Do you know what internal projects to take on? Do you know what marketing campaigns to be doing? Do you know how to be approaching things so that you're able to grow and then eventually scale your business? Do you have the right systems in place? Do you have the right team in place? Are you strategically leveraging AI to support you? We are at a point where if you're not, you want to jump on that right away. And if you are, you want to be keeping up on what you can be doing, because things are moving so quickly and there's so much opportunity. And I see people dramatically underutilizing something that can save so much time and add so much efficiency and cost savings to the business. I know in my business, the way that we've been using AI, I've actually saved an entire full-time team member that I did not have to hire. So when you think about your team and your systems, AI has to be a part of that thought process. And then finally, your insights. Do you even know what's working? Do you have insight into your numbers, your metrics? Do you have KPIs? Do you have things that you're tracking to see where you're going? It's going to be really hard to scale and scale sustainably if you're still in a little bit more of a wing it space. You're much more likely to make decisions that don't take you where you want to go unless you're leveraging real data and real insights, which can be combined with intuition. It can be combined with things that are not purely number-based, but you still need to do reflection. You need those insights. And I think we always want a combination of quantitative data and qualitative data. I know in the dashboards that I use, the KPI dashboards that I use and that I give clients inside Simplify to Scale, we don't just look at numbers. We also look at how much are people overworking. Yeah, you got things done great, but did you have to get things done because you were relying on heroics? Or were you able to get things done within the capacity that you and your team has? And so I think we want to be looking at both of these. So this is an exercise, as I shared, that I frequently do when I'm doing trainings. And I find it can be pretty eye-opening for a lot of people because they don't always realize or recognize where the ceiling is on their current business model, because every business model has one. It's just a matter of figuring out what it is and if that's below or above where you want to be. And then thinking through, if you actually made the jump from where you are today to where you want to be, what would fall apart? What would you need to do? What do you need to change? And inevitably, it all comes down to SPSTI, strategy, planning, systems, team, and insight. That is what we just talked about in this episode. That is what I talk to you about in most episodes. And so it really does come down to those things. So you either have your first opportunity being reimagining your business model and offer suite to be more scalable. Or once that's in alignment, you typically have a challenge with either planning, where you're not aligned around the right things to do to get where you want to go in the most simple, streamlined way. You've got a system problem where it's too hard to get repeat and consistent results. You're not effectively using tools and technology and automation, so you're working harder instead of smarter. Sometimes it's a team problem, and team and systems usually end up pretty closely coupled. Most team issues are really system issues. And most of the times when people are not hiring the team that they need, it's because they don't feel that they have the systems in order to give them to be successful. So team and systems end up really closely coupled. Usually if you've got a problem in one, you've got a problem in the other. And then finally, insights. So if you want to scale without burnout, not about productivity, it's not about having the right tools in place, it's not about following the right strategies and tactics. All of those things are important and will help you reduce the likelihood of burning out. But first things first, you need to make sure that the business is actually scalable. And you need to make sure that there is less and less dependent on you, because you are frequently one of the biggest bottlenecks in scalability. And then once you remove yourself as the bottleneck in scalability, it's frequently your systems that come next. So as I shared, there is a workbook with this episode. If you're not already on my mailing list, head to leanoutmethod.com/insider and get registered. You will find on the thank you page when you register links to all of the workbooks that we've done for all of the previous episodes, including this one. And if you are on the mailing list, then you will get that workbook right in your inbox. So I hope you found this episode really helpful in thinking through how to scale without burnout. And if you are ready to start to infuse AI into your business more, to start using it more strategically, and to use it as a tool to be able to help you both simplify and streamline your operations and scale your impact and your profit and get you back more time, then I'd love to invite you to check out my new program. It's called Simplify and Scale with AI. So you can head to scalewithai.biz. So scalewithai.biz, and that will take you right to the page where you could learn all about the upcoming cohort that I have. And we kick off at the end of June. And if you're thinking of ever joining me, now is the time, because this is the first time that I'm launching this particular program. So I'm actually doing beta pricing right now, which is something I almost never do. So you can get in at a pretty ridiculously great price point right now. So if you want to learn a little bit more, I'd love to invite you to head to the page, check it out. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. It's scalewithai.biz, and you will find all of the details there. And I will see you again next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode. If you have not yet taken our scalability assessment, I invite you to head to leanoutmethod.com/assessment and take our interactive assessment that's going to help you look at how simple, how sustainable, and how scalable your business currently is. It includes personalized recommendations of where to focus next to get your time back, to increase your impact, increase your profits, and ultimately step into your rich, fulfilled life. And finally, we'd love to see you inside our signature program, Simplify to Scale. You can head to leanoutmethod.com/ops to find all of the details on how we can help you uplevel your operations and get out of the day-to-day of your business.